Hey everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. Hey, happy live stream day. Happy Wednesday. Wednesday is not disappointing. All right, this is awesome. Glad to have everybody here. We're ready to rock and roll. Some fun stuff to talk about. Yeah, so it's really cool. I've decided to just give away $25 a day. So we'll just give $25 a day out to everybody who manages to post their Ethereum address on this channel. Just look at the link in the description. It's very easy because look, because this takes, it watches, it has a separation between yesterday and today. At midnight, my time, everybody who puts an Ethereum address in here is in the drawing. And the odds this morning was 1 out of 11. And so there were 11, 1 in 11 was the option. And I just put a random generator, just numbered these 1 through 11, did a random generator. And Rodriguez is our first winner. So congratulations. I gave him $25 of USDT, but you know what? When I sent it, I realized that sending Ethereum is actually like, I think it cost me $11 to send $25 of USDT just because gas is so expensive. And sending Ethereum is actually like a quarter of, or even a fifth of the expense. So I might just do it in Ethereum from now on. So I hope that's okay with you, especially if Ethereum's going to go up over this next bull market. If you're worried about it, you can sell it to USDT yourself if you want. But anyway, so that's kind of the plan. I just wanted to, liven things up a little bit. So we're going to do that. And so, even if you put your address in yesterday, put it in again today. We'll just do this forever. So this will be fun. So by today we've got, more like 25 or something things. So, and while you're here, now that you've done all the hard stuff, you might as well subscribe to the free channel here. So that's kind of what the purpose of this is. Just trying to get some traction. And don't be shy. You can say things on the chat. Not for this particular. Let me just say for the giveaway, only put your address in here. But there's a general chat, and we can chat it up, ask questions. You can drop whatever you're interested in, and whatever. Just keep it G-rated because that's kind of the way I am. But anyway, that's that. Let's talk about Bitcoin. So man, we are getting worked around on this market. Earlier, so first of all, we have to respect the fact that we had 8 red days in a row. 8 red days in a row is pretty unusual for Bitcoin. I still haven't gone back to see how many times this has happened in history. But with this long candle here, this had a very, very strong chance of being a reversal candle. I knew we'd probably bounce off a little bit, but I kind of felt like we'd get a dead cat bounce. So for 2 days, we went up and we had this really, really striking rejection off of resistance here. And then, as expected, after some kind of an emotional rejection from here, I would have expected things to pull back. And in fact, intraday, our low this morning was 26,544, and it was lower than the intraday on this candle, which was 26,560. So we had a lower low today, and now intraday, we've completely reversed course, and we're pulling out a bullish candle. This candle is kind of a mulligan. It's kind of a question mark, because often, I was expecting this to be just a really weak move, and that we would kind of pull back and maybe have, finish out whatever bottom that we were on, but we are getting close. As far as time, we have a lower low, we have a lower high, so we are bearish. This bearish move is just not very intense, which the longer you draw out a pullback without a real fear event, and we really have not had a fear event. The closest we had was this tiny little wick here, and it was barely out of formation. This formation is starting to change because today, tomorrow, the next day, we really needed to move. If we rejected in a weak way right up here, then we needed to move very strongly to the downside and flush out the rest of this move. If not, then bulls are back in charge. There is time, because these tops will take time to, if we rise up and reject and go sideways, there's a lot of time here. But the market, especially today, with this long wick and a huge reversal halfway through the day, if we close green or close as a doji, there's more here. And they kind of, the bearish move was essentially swallowed up today. So, how high do we go? I'm not entirely sure. Our 50 is now sitting at 28,461. So, there's a pretty decent move for longs, even if we do eventually reject off the 50. But when you zoom out, this move here had a full flush out with this move dropping down here. This move here has not had a full flush out, but we've kind of wiped out the bears. I'm starting to get a little bit more bullish on this market. I was definitely bearish until the intraday today, because we finally had a chance. Bears would have won if this would have closed very close to the end of this. If we'd have created a new candle body low below this one, this would have been very bearish, and we'd have probably had a couple of days of some serious downside. But where we had the chance to do it and we didn't do it, that's a big difference. So things might be heating up. We might have to have an emergency meeting with the pros tonight at close. So anyway, because of that, Ethereum did the exact same thing. And Ethereum is precarious because this is the resistance that we have been facing for a long time. This is a well-established line. We've broken through it. If we get above it and establish it as support again, we have consolidated long enough. We have switched from support, where we had resistance here. We have everything we need. So especially on the weekly, you can really see it plain as day. This wick here is lower than the top of the wick here. So we had a perfect handoff. This chart has everything it needs. We can totally go bullish here. So I've just been waiting for Bitcoin to finish its move. I thought maybe there was a little more on Bitcoin. If not, then this chart could easily turn around. Ethereum's just about ready to go. So if we analyze our close, this is our weekly close that we never really had a chance to talk about last Monday. We had a strong rejection off of this line, a couple of days, a couple weeks of sideways, and then this was kind of our first chance to head down. And we did intersect wicks, and so we kind of have what we need. We kind of need, if we had a week or two of some consolidation to just turn around and gain some strength, anything could happen with Ethereum. And you all know my opinion on Ethereum's fundamentals. Things are getting better and better and better. Okay, so here's one other strange thing that is happening. On Ethereum, if I zoom in here really close, look at these two lines here. The 50 is this green one, and this blue one is the 200. They did cross just now. Actually, at the end, so in 4 days, 6 hours, there we will have a death cross on Ethereum, but it's not going to matter. The death cross doesn't matter if you're this high above it. So both of these lines are still support. But let's see, where's our, okay, so our 50 is including this candle, and we are barely trading above it. So the 50 is sloping upwards slightly, and it'll jump upwards here. So what we're about to witness, is potentially a death cross followed by a golden cross. One candle later. This is going to be a first. It'll be crazy. I mean, you just don't see this stuff very often. The stars have aligned to perfection that we are having a death cross. It'll most likely end at a death cross. But the next candle, or potentially even two, but I'm betting next candle will have a golden cross. We'll cross back up again. That'll be weird. That'll be very weird. So yeah, so that is kind of the weekly chart on Ethereum. Let's just look at the Bitcoin weekly chart. And Blue Sky, I saw your question. We'll get to it. Anybody else has questions, throw it into chat. So we will we'll talk about everything you want to talk about. But yeah, so Bitcoin, the major thing with Bitcoin, if I'm trading Bitcoin and looking at the weekly chart, normally what I'm waiting for, and this is why I was waiting for it, I'd be waiting for a handoff between the wicks. The wicks are very important to kind of do that handoff. Where things got muddy is we have the 200 showed up. The 200 showed up in the middle of this, where we rejected on the underside of the 200, and now we're finding support on the top of the 200 over here. If you erase the 200 from the view, you're still waiting for downside. There needs to be a gap. We would want to close this gap, if at all possible. But if Bitcoin starts showing strength intra-week, so the daily starts showing momentum and a little bit more strength, there is a case. There is a case to be made that we have flipped from resistance to support, and it all happened on the 200 because it's in the middle of our business. In an ideal world, we would want to come down, but we have dropped a pretty decent amount. Like, this is a solid, in a bull market, this is plenty of time to say that the bears had a chance. And so this market could turn around. Last week, we did tag the 200. So we had some major events happen. It'll be interesting. I'm definitely going to be watching this very closely. A couple other major things, and then we'll hit questions and stuff like that. One is Bitcoin dominance has remained completely flat, which is amazing. We're still holding the 50, but we're just like, when we're in the vicinity of the 50, that means we've ranged for 50 days or more. And that's exactly what we've done. So Bitcoin dominance is holding parity with the rest of the market. If Bitcoin goes up, they're all going up. If Bitcoin goes down, they're all going down. And if Bitcoin starts getting strength, we're going to see an alt season, because there's a lot of money out there. And if Bitcoin starts increasing market cap, a lot of money is going to flow into alts, and they will probably, from a percentage standpoint, outperform Bitcoin. So that's something to keep an eye on. Let's see, the Ethereum Bitcoin chart has created an ascending triangle. And the length of this is about 3 weeks old. So on the daily, we definitely got out of the red zone, and we came back and found support on the 50. We broke the 20. We're now slowly increasing up this line. And the most recent event was that yesterday at close, we closed above the 100, where we had rejected against it twice. Today, we've fallen through a little bit because Bitcoin's kind of on a little bit of a tear. But yeah, Ethereum is just about to break upwards versus Bitcoin. And my speculation is that if Bitcoin does actually start showing some strength, Ethereum's probably going to outperform. So our market is changing. And in fact, yesterday was so strange because we had a lot of green closes on alts, and Ethereum and Bitcoin were down. So there are some alts that are just, they've kind of bled off. What happened was during Bitcoin's run, alts ran from the bottom up to here with Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then after this pullback, alts went flat. So even though Bitcoin jumped and consolidated up here, alts never moved. They never made this jump. And so they've slowly been pulling down against these most recent moves to the downside, and they're getting impatient. And so we're seeing some coins really jumping. I mean, look at CTSI jumped 18% yesterday. We had a handful of other coins that really moved north. Let's see, Mana was one that had a pretty strong move. It was up quite a lot earlier. Axie Infinity was way up earlier. Quite a few of these. And so for them to have, to see double-digit gains in the altcoin market when Bitcoin and Ethereum are red, you can just tell that everybody's fatigued by this. The bears have had their day, and now that we're flattening out a little bit, bulls are getting impatient. And so when Bitcoin turns around and we start seeing a couple of green days, I'm betting alts are going to jump. So there is a flavor in this market that things are changing. So render since this morning is already up 11%. So this thing looks pretty good. So yeah, pretty interesting. Let's see. Very, very cool. All right, let's hit some questions. Pretty good update. It's really nice. It's almost like the situation with the SEC, how XRP is gaining some ground in the lawsuit. It's just creating a lot of just kind of hope for the future. So I think everything's starting to move because of that. I just kind of feel like that's probably the most positive news out there, and it's actual news. When you see things that are not hype, but that they lost being able to seal those documents, man. That is awesome. All right, Blue Sky. Hi, Calvin. What are your thoughts? Oh, I forgot to say hi to Charlie. Good afternoon, Calvin. Thank you. All right, so Blue Sky says, what are your thoughts on the Ledger hardware wallets? I think they are so dumb. That is the complete opposite of what you want to do if you are creating a hardware wallet. I think that is so short-sighted. What they've done is they've probably heard nothing. This is the case of, I have 1 million happy customers and I've got 10,000 customers that had a bad experience. And rather than listen to the 990,000 customers that are happy and perfectly satisfied and really enjoying the project or the product, they spent so much time listening to these whiny minority of people who can't control their private keys or had a bad experience, that they're going to destroy the product for the rest of the 990,000. I actually have an old ledger. I never really used it, but I did get one just to know what it was all about. I still use Trezor because they're open source, and if anything changes or anything weird shows up, it's going to be everywhere. And same thing with Ledger. Now that people realize, so the news is, for those that didn't catch it, that Ledger is trying to create a monthly subscription that they will back up your keys for you. And apparently it's encrypted and it's going to be stored in 3 different places and whatever. That doesn't matter. The fact that your seed phrase can leave the device, period, means that it's suddenly hackable. It's suddenly there is a transaction. Even if it's encrypted or anything else, you have just undermined the entire purpose of cold storage. It's no longer cold storage. It's a hot wallet now. And so if you upgrade your ledger, you are now you've just given that device the ability to do that. I would never use the ledger after this. I would, yeah, my ledger is toast. I'm totally throwing it away. That is the stupidest thing you could do when you're in the business of protecting people's stuff and creating a cold storage. And now suddenly the people that trusted you with that find out that that it's warm storage instead. Oh man, they're toast. I think they're going to struggle as a company because, yeah, if you don't know how to handle your own keys and you're not smart enough to do that, then you probably should just leave your coins on an exchange, because it's the same thing. You're relying on someone else to take care of something that you're not willing to or able to do yourself. So yeah, super disappointed. They've been around for a long time, but I see this as a nail in the coffin. That is the dumbest thing they could do. They just blew up their business in my mind. So Greg Shum, hello from Virginia. Hello. Jake, thank you. So Blue Sky follow-ups question, will you continue using Ledger wallets? The answer is no. And if no, what other wallet do you use? I use Trezor for everything. They've been around for a long time. It was the first hardware wallet that I ever found, and I did a decent amount of research to feel comfortable with that. I know there's a lot out there, but they're definitely the oldest. They have a long reputation. And anyway, I bought a box. I bought a box of 100 so that if whenever it gets destroyed, I can put my seed phrase in another one, and it just keeps things, I don't have to worry about anything. So anyway, Jake, since Render broke up out of the channel it dropped into, out of the channel that dropped into, is that essentially a fake out breakdown? Channel. Oh, is this sideways channel now, is this breakdown a fake out? Well, so this channel existed because of this line here, but a channel isn't a very good channel if you only have 2 touch points. You really need 3. And this one was kind of all over the map. This one kind of held, and it was in play because it reacted a lot when it crossed the line. But yeah, to be honest, this is probably not the strongest channel in for this coin, and it's really hard to find another one. I would probably say that the line is here. That this is probably our support resistance line right here. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty subtle. All I can say is that I'm kind of patient when it comes to trading. And I like to wait for enough consolidation that we definitely have the 20 moving down. We've got 20 days of decent consolidation. This move, I'm a little suspicious of it. It's a lot to do in one day, 11%, especially when you haven't been doing too much. And there's a high chance that this could be a head and shoulders, or at least this would be a bull trap. So yeah, I'm a little suspicious of these types of moves until we get in the vicinity of our most recent high. Then I'm like, okay, one more pullback and I'm in, that kind of thing. So yeah, interesting. Let's see, silly question from Charlie. SHIB USD on Bitcoin or Coinbase exchange. Weekly chart shows this massive support line. Wondering what your thoughts on it and how reliable it might be. Let's take a look. So my closes are a little different just because I'm using MEXC and they close at 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning Mountain Time. But I'll go to the weekly and we'll just kind of see if there's a decent way to read this chart. Well, this is what I'm seeing on this chart. I'm seeing the longest, slowest support rising that you could imagine. This is what I'm seeing. We have pretty solid rising support established way back in 2021. We have a wick that hit it as support to confirm that it's still there. We bounced up, candle body right here. This is December of 2022, and now we're back to the line. This is usually not good, to be honest, because whenever you hit a support, you want to get as far away as possible from it. And the first time we did, we really got off of it. Next time we touched it, we moved up a bit, but we resisted right where this support happened. So we're having a flip from support to now resistance. So this is starting to get buried a little bit. And then we hit it again, and we tried to get out, but we didn't overcome our most recent high. So we're putting in lower highs as we go, and we keep touching this line. The more you touch a line, the weaker it gets. And especially if you do it with more frequency or with less of the hot stove reaction. The hot stove reaction, you touch a line and you bounce off of it really strongly. That's what you want to see. The stove's getting cold. We're not reacting as much off of this line. And at some point, we will probably break it. When we break it, it'll probably be a fake out. It'll probably be one of those things where you kind of you scare the crap out of everybody because we finally dropped below something important, and then that's actually the perfect place to buy. But yeah, until we start seeing a higher high than this, it's going to be a little tough. It's going to be a little tough to say that this market's got a lot of future in it. But you know what? We're just barely exiting the bottom of the bear market, just beginning of this year. And so alts haven't really had a big chance. This is another one of those examples where off the bottom, it went up with Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then when we had the pullback, it pulled back. But Ethereum and Bitcoin went to make new highs where the rest of the alts kind of were sideways. And then they've lost a little bit of excitement. There's probably going to be an alt season coming up soonish. So this move that was sideways will probably end up being a lot more vertical. So there's probably some hope here, but I'd be a little skeptical of buying in right now. So that's just my opinion. Thank you, Calvin. You're welcome. David says, hi, Calvin from Spain. Hi. Push the like, please. Thank you. Appreciate that. Michael Pressler. Hi, Calvin. Can you give us your opinion on health of the crypto bull market for the rest of the year, despite SEC and U.S. government trying to show us who's boss? Thank you. Yes. So this is what normally happens. I'll just zoom out really good so we can kind of see when the bottom is in. So we'll just kind of look at these in a couple of different ways. The bottom is in, and when the bottom is in, usually one of our biggest moves is off that bottom. Everyone's finally like, the bleeding has stopped, hallelujah, rejoice, rejoice, we're off. But what happens is that we get a little too excited. And then we pull back, and we have a pretty long, drawn out sideways. This is just historically speaking. It doesn't mean we necessarily have to, but in 2012, we definitely hit a high and pulled back before we really started moving again. And then next time, when we were coming out of the bottom of the bear market, our bottom was in right here. And so we moved off pretty strongly. In fact, it only took us a couple of weeks and we hit this huge spike. If I zoom in on this, you'll notice that the top of this spike was not overtaken it took us 203 days. So it's this, finally we're off, we're out. We've broken all the resistance. We've got blue sky ahead of us, and we have these major moves, and then we've got some oscillations to do. This is what has happened in 2015 and 16, and we did the exact same thing in 2018 and 19. So 2019, the bottom was officially in, and we absolutely launched. And then we hit this spike, this really long high spike, and we did not touch this level for almost a year. I mean, it was a really long time. This was a big move, though. The other moves weren't quite this drastic. So this was us trying to be smarter than the market. We know that, if the bottom's in, that means we're going up, and people really took that. So now we're looking at this current time frame. What's different? What's different between the current market that we are in and every other one. The difference is we did not get a huge blow off top. This move here was massive. It's hard to see. I'm sure my face is in the way. Oh, you can barely see. This was a 200% move. We didn't have a long spike, but here we had a long spike. Here we had a long spike. This top had no spike at all. There was kind of a quick move down. I mean, it was quite a bearish engulfing, but this does not feel or look or seem like emotionally a blow off top. There's no overbought situation here. The fact that we went up this much and just kind of went here and then we've gone sideways means there's still a ton of bulls in this market. I know it's been a little depressing for a month because we've just kind of languished a little bit, but this tiny little pullback is nothing. Like, this is not bulls scared or discouraged from this market. That's why I believe there's one more move. There's one more move because we haven't had that crazy exuberant move coming off the bottom. I mean, we've done a good job. We've come off the bottom pretty good, but we really want to see a very strong reversal candle, something with a nice long wick on it. And we saw that in the last two tops coming off bear markets. Even though this one kind of overcame it, we still had to wait 200 days. So even if we were measured and careful and controlled, we could potentially be waiting quite a while. So we're kind of getting there. One more strong move, I think, and we might be at a place where we can chill for a while. But yeah, it's the way I'm looking at it. And the market will move, you know, in a way that makes sense for, you know, it's almost like the market moves and then people find news to support it. So I know the SEC and the US government is in the way, but they won't necessarily drive the price. It's more the emotions that are already priced in that will drive the price. Because, you know, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, you're not going to care anything. If you can buy it, then you're going to do it, almost no matter what. Charlie, great insight. Thank you. Appreciate it. Can we look at algo? How would you trade and some possible targets? Let's look and see. Algo. Let's see. Where's that guy? Oh, here it is. All right. So let's go to the daily. All right. Algo is in a major red zone. It's been in the red zone for a while. By the way, you'll know exactly how I trade this on the Pro channel. When I open my position, you will watch it happen live. What I'm looking for, so we kind of have a double bottom happening, and we definitely have a downward sloping resistance. But this downward sloping resistance is not going to last forever, especially coming into bull market years. The reason this is downward sloping is because we just had a bear market. Everything was downward sloping. Just so happens that this is all the data I have. There might be more. I'm sure there is more. But what I'd be watching for long term is a cross of this line. If we cross this line, this is the ultimate place to buy in for sure. I think we could, I mean, we're so far away from the 50 that there's probably a chance that we move up a little bit prematurely. And there's about a 10 to 12% move on the table. But it's likely we'll have one more pullback. If we kind of get up here a ways, get close to the 50, retreat, and our bottom is higher than this bottom, and we can tell that there's a swing low that has formed, that would be the perfect buy-in right here, because it'll be only a matter of time before we cross this. And all the people that are watching this and watching the red zone, watching the 50, they will pull momentum behind us as we move out. So it's looking good. Today, so far, it looks like we're intraday above the 20, which is positive. So, but yeah, on the Pro channel, you watch me trade live, and When I feel like it's a buy, I buy it, and you watch it happen, and you can decide whether I'm crazy or not. But yeah, as far as targets, I wouldn't be too. I mean, if I was to buy in here and I was feeling jumpy or whatever, I'd probably reduce my position or take profits near the 50 and wait for one more pullback. And then I'd probably keep my 100% position for quite a while because bull market's coming. It's only a year. We have many alt seasons, and they will pull prices up like crazy. Like this bottom here, 78%. You think that looks like a huge amount, but just wait till a real alt season comes. Everything will be doubling and tripling. It's pretty easy to make money. You just have to have a position in. So, but yeah, things have been a little depressed lately. But yeah, I'm feeling like we're gonna probably get a surge soon. Just can feel it. Hi, Calvin. What are your thoughts on Digibyte? Let's see, Digibyte. So Digibyte most recently has been, suffering like the rest of us with the bear market. The data that I have, because I'm on MEXC, is only from 2023 on. So Digibyte moved up pretty good with Bitcoin coming off the bottom. And then when everything pulled back with Bitcoin, most of the alts did this exact same thing, went sideways. Bitcoin and Ethereum continued to move on, and then the rest of the alts went sideways. And yeah, this line doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Okay. But yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I think Digibyte is getting closer. The problem is that we've gotten so steep that it's going to be really hard to catch the perfect bottom, because if it goes V-shape, then it's really hard to find an entry point. Yesterday we got a little bit of a hook, so we established a low, and just yesterday we're kind of establishing a slightly lower low. It's not really defined, but there's a consolidation in this range, and now that we're kind of showing increasing support, this is getting ripe. It's getting closer. I don't like to buy it because it's too there's still momentum happening, even though there's visible signs of a change in momentum. I really like to buy confirmations. I like to make sure that I've got kind of the most momentum on my side, and for that reason I like to wait for the 20 to come down. I like to wait for a little bit more sideways consolidation for the right setup, because you never know if this is just gonna jump up for a week and then you have a continuation. And I don't like to get faked out. I like to make sure that the market's very boring. So like off of this move, where we just went fully sideways and then we started breaking out, I would totally get faked out right here. Like this is where I would buy in. So I think I probably did. I probably bought in right here, and then market surprised to the downside, and then we rejected, and then we've been down. So, but this is a high probability trade, and so I don't mind taking it. All I'm doing now is looking for the next high probability trade, and I just need to make sure that it's fallen enough that it makes sense to actually average down. Because if it only drops 5% or something, and you put in your next position, you've doubled your risk, but you haven't really changed your reward very much. You're still in the same vicinity. If things really turn upside down and they show signs of strength, then your risk reward is greatly improved, because even if you just broke even on your other one, you've doubled or tripled just on the way back to break even on your second entry point. So it's all kind of a matter of being patient, keeping your positions small, and waiting for reasons to buy. Okay, I did catch a part of the last red flat. Pascal, are you talking about Bitcoin? Red flat. Wow, look at that. 27,225. Yeah, if anyone bought in here, it made sense, because we had a huge support tail, and yeah, So I don't know. My whole trading thesis was, will we get kind of a fake out? So I know it's funny. So Bitcoin right now is it's surging up to 27,300. This actually is not better. This is actually more bearish in my mind. If we have a small move that starts bringing us back, but hasn't broken out yet, so that we have time to define this top, it's stronger. If we close this here, then this is all one move. Instead of this being a pullback and a higher support and then we move, which is better structure. If we just blow off and have a long candle, there's a stronger case that bulls have been fatigued because they've gone from 26,550, all the way up. They've gone $1,000 in one direction, and we haven't seen a visible chance for the market to take a rest. So yeah, it'll be an interesting discussion tonight, and depending on where this closes, because now that we've put a high intraday high on, we now have a new high versus yesterday's high. We have a new low versus yesterday's low. If we close in the middle, it becomes more of an indecision candle. It doesn't show strength or weakness. There are cases that there is strength, but there's cases that there's weakness. And if we close way up here, then all of this is a single move, and we're still waiting for the bear move. So people might be getting a little too prematurely excited. It's really nuanced. It's really nuanced, but yeah, it's actually going in the bear's favor if this gets too excited. But we got 4 hours and 45 minutes to go, so we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Blue Sky wants to look at Matic. We'll check that in 1 sec. Charlie says, remember making a nice slip off of Digibyte back in May of 2020 when it had a bull cross. Cool. Pascal says, candle was waiting for a deeper position, but I can see as well we may be on support. 111 daily moving average also is higher now. Maybe we'll never see 25,000 again. Better prepare for this as well. So in the case that we don't touch 25, it really depends. This 200 week is very strong. It's very strong. So this alone could keep us away from the 25,000 vicinity, and I think it has. I think this was a hot stove move off of the 200 week moving average, and so it could. The question is what happens on the end of this? Whoops. What happens in the next move? Because if we get, like, let's say this move doesn't ever overcome this top. Like, let's say we don't get above 31,000 on this move, and we start heading back down again. We have a very strong case that we'll hit 25, regardless of whether the 200 week moving average is here or not. If we get pretty high, and then we start showing some weakness, and we start consolidating or leveling off, or if we touch down and do a hot stove off of the 200 week again, then true, we may not see 25. But I leave the door open for any of those scenarios to play out, just depending on the information that's given to me. So we're always reading the charts and taking one more piece of data in, and we're analyzing that, seeing what the shape does to the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, if we're kind of chopping, we've chopped up, chopped down, chopped up, chopped down, and we chop up and it's just another lower high, then we will likely have a lower low. Like, that's what we would expect until proven otherwise. So yeah, there's still a ton of time. Traders feel like they need to do something or else they will never see a level again. And it's usually not the case. Especially the older a coin is, the more chances you have to get in. Things move slower than you think. Until we're in crazy bull insanity mode, and you still will see those levels again. You just might miss, 100% move or something in the meantime, which would stink. ADA is bouncing off the 200 day. Matic is really pumping right now. All right, let's go look at Matic because Blue Sky was looking for that too. Matic's up 5% since this morning. So Matic is doing, this is close to the perfect formation. It's not quite perfect. I wish it was a little slower. But yeah, we do have a W here, and the right side is higher than our left. So this is positive. So we've kind of had a selling climax. We've had kind of a dead cat bounce of some kind, and then now we've established a slightly higher low. So this can be a really good recipe for a turnaround. The only problem is that this is coming off of a pretty significant move. We moved into this range from here, and it was an 11% move, and to kind of drop 11% in 2 days and then bounce around and find a little bit of support, we haven't given ourselves a chance for much consolidation. So our 20 is still way above us. That leaves the door open for rejection off of here. If we reject off the 20 and then we come back and find support on the tops of our consolidation, now I'm bullish. Now I'm ready to go. But this is an immature move yet. Like it hasn't given, there's no confirmation in this move. Right now you would be stabbing in the dark. So this isn't something I would buy. But yeah, if we reject off of the 20, or even if we beat it for a day or two, and then we come back down and we start showing real support above here, and we have 20 days so that our 20's down in the vicinity of our price action, suddenly this move has all it needs. We're getting close, because if I take this line here, we're close. This candle hasn't closed yet, but and honestly, there's enough activity and wicks up here that we could potentially, it could move up a little bit further and still be resistance. So this is premature in my mind, but it's getting closer. By next week, this could be a buy for sure. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Let's see, ADA bouncing off the 200. Let's just take a look at ADA really fast. It's got to be around here somewhere. Wow, I'm blind. Oh, maybe it's in my... All right, I'll stop wasting time. Let me go find it. Here we go. There it is. All right. Okay. All right, so ADA had a very ugly head and shoulders, and it did break the neckline, but we never hit our target. So there is potentially more downside, but we did hit the 200 as support. So yeah, this is an interesting formation because we did lose the rejection here. The target would put this much lower, and we didn't get it. Neckline is 0.082. So if I go down 0.082, yeah, that's way down here. Yeah, we're not going to be hitting that target. So it might be that we're ready to turn around. Short term, we are in the vicinity of our 20, so we've consolidated pretty good. We have had a selling climax followed by a higher low. So there are subtle signs of a change in momentum down here, and we're starting to get enough sideways that we're getting there. I believe we've overcome this downward resistance. Yeah, we have. So here was our breakout. Here's our return to confirm on top of it, and now we're starting to move. So yeah, ADA could be turning around. Could be turning around. I'm gonna be a little more patient. I'm not interested in it until we kind of come above the 20 maybe and come back for support. Also, because we're in the vicinity of our prior neckline, it'd be nice to break that and start showing signs of strength above it. And then we'll kind of move past this formation. So yeah, almost all the alts are starting to do this though. This little W that's happening, most of them are starting to show a slightly higher high here, or a higher low. And that is usually the first sign that things are starting to change. And it's time. It's getting there. Yeah, interesting. Should be fun to watch this develop over the next little bit. Our formation is generally still bearish though. We have no definitive proof that we have a change in momentum, because our most recent high is 29.5. From 27.3, it's kind of a little late if you get up to 29.5, you know what I mean? You've missed $2,000 of a move to see if we're gonna finally get a new high. But usually these things take steps. Like if we are gonna reverse this trend, there's usually an intra-month kind of temporary high that we get. So we'll probably put another lower high in. It's just that when we come back down, our next move will have a higher low than this low. So if you're super patient and you can kind of wait through some of that, and you can finally see that, hey, we did establish a better spot over in here, then suddenly the other side looks really attractive. And you actually have the strength you need to break out of this resistance here. So these things take time. I mean, there's a lot, you know, you see price move a couple $100 in a minute, and it doesn't mean that everything's changed. But, you know, the aggregation of a lot of little things can create a major change in trend. But it'll be, you know, we gotta be patient. Patience is key, says Charlie. I'll keep on accumulating on dips. If you want to have a stress-free life, stop trading. Just buy as you go. That is definitely the most stress-free way to do crypto. Okay, let's see. We've been at this for what? 52 minutes. Pretty solid session. Yeah, so anyway, you kind of have a little bit of the flavor of what I'm looking for and how I read a chart. Yeah, I would be so bearish on this chart, except that we did bounce off that 200s with such authority. And today, when I was expecting a solid red day, because earlier it was red and it was looking beautiful, we were ready to hit our next move to the downside. We are not doing that right now. So we might be doing something different. I'll be very curious to read what the close gives us. Yeah, in fact, I'll just show you my matcher for now. This is something also that kind of informs my decisions sometimes. Our matcher's variance is extremely low. And what's weird is that because we've consolidated for more than 55 days, we're not even taking into consideration how far we've moved up from the bottom in my little matcher. So it's just showing a sideways consolidation with a move to the upside and then a slight move to the downside. So this is our closest match. It's a time when we had moved to the upside, kind of consolidated a bit, had a slightly lower high, and we're starting to trail off a little bit. From a time-wise perspective, last time we did something similar to this, with no context of what happened before 55 days, we started gaining strength and started to move on out of our bottom. And maybe we're seeing that, you know, maybe we're seeing that. In fact, this scenario came up quite a few times, and the entire thing, all top 10 closest matches, the highest variance is 15%. So this is starting to become something that's worth really looking at. If I look at the average of everything, the shape of the chart doesn't quite look as normal because this is missing. But this move to the upside after consolidating, we kind of broke out right here, and then we've kind of been slowly leveling off. If this move here starts to be interpreted as a sideways consolidation and that the bears have no more strength, we really could start moving up. That's funny. this actually shows my scenario. So to get out of this situation, you kind of need a move where you don't quite overcome the recent high, and you pull back and prove to the market that you've got a higher low in the pocket. And that's when you get the strength to move up out of those things. So yeah, this is what I'm expecting to happen, is that we'll probably move up, establish a lower high, but that our next low will be higher, and that'll be the ticket. It'll be like, okay, now we got a momentum shift in the works, and then we'll launch from there. If for whatever launch arc we get, So anyway, it's fun stuff. There's never a dull moment, that's for sure. But we need closes. We need confirmations. I don't like to make decisions intraday. I like to see, the final facts at the end of day, and then we've got information to work from. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting me. I'm going to be giving away $25 every day. So don't be afraid to say hi on general chat, but put your address in here. I don't care if the same person wins more than once. I just want to kind of create more of a community and have a way to kind of interact with each other. So let's fill this all up. We will give away $25 every day forever, and eventually, hopefully, everyone will win at least once, depending on how big the channel gets or whatever. But for now, we'll start there. All right, you guys, been awesome. We'll catch you on the next one. See you guys. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.